Hello everyone and welcome back. You know I love to hear your thoughts, so I recently asked all of you which sitcoms do you absolutely adore or hate, and among all your brilliant suggestions, one show definitely made a strong appearance: Not Going Out. This long-running BBC sitcom invites us into the world of Lee, played by Lee Mack, a character who's pretty much allergic to responsibility. He's the classic, lazy, unmotivated and incredibly sarcastic flatmate whose main goals seem to be avoiding chores and, well, trying often awkwardly to charm the ladies in his life. The show itself is a master of quick-fire gags, witty banter and that comforting traditional studio audience laughter. So, when it comes to Not Going Out, what made you laugh out loud and what maybe made you roll your eyes? Let's unpack what viewers and critics loved or hated about this very British comedy. Not Going Out is the second longest running British sitcom, having 14 series over 19 years, second only to Last of the Summer Wine, having 31 series over 37 years. As Not Going Out is a long-running series, there have been changes in the cast and format, and, like Last of the Summer Wine, has several distinct eras. In Summer Wine, the eras were often defined by which third man was in the series. Some people define these eras as Compo and after Compo when Bill Owen passed away. Each time one of these main characters changed, people often felt the overall feeling of the show changed. The core audience stayed with the show throughout. In Not Going Out, series 1 to 7, Lee was a lodger living with his best mate Tim's ex-girlfriend Kate, or Tim's sister Lucy. At the end of series 7, Lee and Lucy marry. From series 8 to 13, they have children, so the dynamic has changed to a family sitcom. In series 14, Lee and Lucy have the house themselves again. The core audience remained. These changes in the cast and style of the show meant that some viewers simply did not like the show in one of those eras, but some still enjoyed the show partly because the characters grew and had realistic story arcs. So I'm going to look at the show in those three distinct parts: the original slacker sitcom, the family sitcom and the latest empty nest period. The initial seasons established Lee as a lovable, sarcastic layabout, living as a lodger in a flat owned by his best friend, uptight accountant Tim. Lee has a penchant for getting into absurd scrapes, often with Tim. Lee's landlady is Kate, Tim's American ex-girlfriend. Much of the comedy in this series stems from Lee's efforts to flirt with Kate, Tim's lingering feelings for her, and the awkward love triangle that ensues, along with Lee's general incompetence and attempts to get rich quick. The humour was fast-paced, driven by witty banter, quick gags and Lee's general ineptitude at adulting. Fans of these early series appreciated the pure gag-per-minute approach. Miranda Hart appeared at the end of season 1 as the ineffectual and lazy cleaner Barbara. She then featured more prominently in series 3. The audience reaction to Barbara was generally mixed. Some viewers found her clumsiness and deadpan humour to be very funny, appreciating Miranda Hart's unique comedic style. However, others found the character irritating or the humour predictable. On online forums, some viewers specifically stated they disliked her character and found it a bonus if she wasn't in an episode. As Tim is quite fastidious, analytical and prone to neuroticism, he was exasperated by Barbara's slovenly, oblivious and often unhelpful nature. This clash created immediate comedic tension. He wanted order and efficiency and she delivered chaos and inefficiency. His inability to simply fire her, despite her obvious failings, became a running gag and highlighted his own weaknesses. Lee would sometimes observe Tim's struggles with Barbara with amusement, or even subtly instigate more awkwardness. From series 2, Kate has moved out and gone back to America. Tim's sister Lucy becomes the new tenant at the flat, still with Lee as lodger. She becomes the object of Lee's unrequited affection. American actress Megan Dodd's departure after the first series was a significant early change. Some viewers loved the initial dynamic with Kate, finding her straight woman role a good foil for Lee's antics. There's a sentiment that the first series, despite its differences, had a unique charm. According to Lee Mack's autobiography, it was a mutual decision that she left. Mack stated that he and Dodds didn't really hit it off with one another and that it wasn't her thing. He also suggested that she wanted to concentrate on other things, which he took as a euphemism for not wanting to work with him. This change had a significant positive effect on the show's long-term success. While Kate was a key part of Series 1's dynamic, her departure allowed for the introduction of Lucy. The chemistry between Lee Mack and Sally Breton as Lee and Lucy became the heart of the show and proved to be incredibly popular and enduring, establishing the long-running will they won't they tension that sustained the series for many years. In Series 3, the will they won't they between Lee and Lucy continues, with Lee often sabotaging Lucy's relationships, including one with an older man called Guy. Daisy becomes a more regular character, adding her dim-witted but endearing presence. Miranda Hart, Barbara the cleaner, left after Series 3 due to now having her own successful eponymous sitcom. The show was cancelled by the BBC in 2009 whilst the third series was still airing, but the decision was later revised due to a combination of strong DVD sales and an online petition. After Series 5, Tim Vine left the show. He came back in Series 7 just for the wedding episode. Tim Vine's character was a central figure in the early series, serving as Lee's best friend, landlord and often the straight man to Lee's antics. Tim Vine chose to leave the show because he didn't want to do it forever and fancied a change, to concentrate on other projects such as his stand-up comedy and other acting roles. He stated that it's nice to keep moving. His character was written out by being given a work placement in Germany. Tim Vine's departure had a mixed effect. For many viewers, the comedic dynamic between Tim and Lee, characterised by the quickfire banter and contrasting personalities, was a major draw. Some fans felt that the show lost something vital with his absence, noticing a change in the comedic rhythm. However, the show had already begun to shift focus more squarely onto the Lee and Lucy relationship. Tim's departure arguably pushed the show further in that central dynamic, allowing other characters, like Daisy, to become more prominent and fill some of the comedic space, although she left after the 2015 Christmas special. Series 6 saw more frequent appearances from Bobby Ball as Lee's father, having only been in 3 previous episodes. He was then seen in every series up to his death in 2020, his final 2 appearances being posthumous. Series 7 finally sees Lee and Lucy officially get together and marry. We now see them exploring a relationship as a couple rather than just flatmates with unspoken feelings. The series includes their wedding and a Christmas special where Lucy gives birth to their first child. Series 7 was followed by a time jump and the introduction of the children. This transformed the show from a slacker sitcom into a more conventional family sitcom. The marriage of Lee and Lucy, especially the time jump and them having children, is perhaps the most divisive aspect of the show's run. Many ardent fans of the early series felt this was where the show jumped the shark. They missed the dynamic of Lee as a perpetual single man, constantly trying and failing to impress Lucy. Conversely, a large segment of the audience continued to enjoy the show, finding the new family dynamic relatable and still funny. The humour largely derives from the everyday chaos of raising 3 children, marital spats and the challenges of suburban family life. Lee's feckless nature clashes with Lucy's more responsible but still prone to mishaps approach to parenting. Some understand that a will they won't they dynamic wouldn't last forever and the show needed to move and evolve to avoid becoming stale. Marriage and parenthood offered new comedic avenues. The show still maintained its high gag rate, just with a different idiomatic focus. For some, it remained consistently funny and light-hearted daftness. Lee Mack's comedic timing and delivery remained a strong point, with many praising his ability to carry the show regardless of the surrounding circumstances. Toby and Anna become more central as the main couple's closest friends and foils. Lucy's parents, Geoffrey and Wendy, also feature regularly, often providing comedic generational clashes. Some critics felt that the family sitcom format relied on tired tropes: the feckless husband and the exasperated wife, forgotten anniversaries, etc., etc. It didn't offer anything particularly new or innovative. A common complaint was that the characters, particularly Lee and Lucy, became less believable as a married couple. Some felt Lucy's constant hating on Lee felt less like playful banter and more like genuine resentment, making it harder to root for them as a couple. The show was often criticised for prioritising gags over character development. The introduction of children, some argue, forced the show into the more generic family sitcom territory, with less room for surreal, adult-centric banter that defined the early years. The child actors were sometimes seen as not delivering the lines with the same comedic timing, making the stories lack any heart. Some felt it became predictable and daft. The 7-year time jump between series 7 and 8 was a significant leap, which some found jarring and disruptive to the show's continuity. While Not Going Out continued to attract a large audience and maintain its status as one of the longest running British sitcoms, the shift to a family sitcom was a divisive point. It gained new viewers who enjoyed the family orientated humour, but also alienated some long-time fans who missed the show's original premise and character. In Series 12, the show addresses the real-life passing of actor Bobby Ball, who played Lee's father Frank. His character's death is written into the series, adding a poignant element to the usual comedy. Series 14 of Not Going Out has definitely sparked a new wave of discussion among viewers and critics, primarily due to its significant format change. Following another time jump, Lee and Lucy are now empty nesters, with their children having grown up and moved out. This marks a return to a more couple-focused dynamic reminiscent of the earlier series before the children were introduced. Many viewers who were critical of the family sitcom era, series 8 to 13, are welcoming the shift back to focusing solely on Lee and Lucy's interactions. The absence of the children is often cited as a positive. It was noticed that the refocus on them as a couple allows them to lean a little heavier into the cruder comedy of the show's earlier seasons. The plots revolve around their new life phase, such as looking for a new house and navigating their newfound freedom, and often the unexpected challenges that come with it. Some viewers appreciate that the show is continuing to evolve rather than stagnate. After 6 series of family life, a new chapter was seen as a logical step. Even with the format changes, Lee Mack's ability to deliver rapid-fire jokes remains a strong point for many. Critics often acknowledge his skill as a comedian, even if they have reservations about the show's overall direction. A significant point of contention for many viewers is the apparent absence of the extended supporting cast, including Toby, Anna, Geoffrey and Wendy. These characters had become integral to the show's dynamic, and their loss is keenly felt by some who valued their interactions with Lee and Lucy. This, combined with the earlier departure of Tim and Daisy, means the show is now very heavily reliant on just Lee and Lucy. The plots, even with the new dynamic, are sometimes criticised for being overly convoluted or implausible, prioritising gags over realistic scenarios. A recurring sentiment among some critics and long-time viewers is that the show, despite its longevity, might be past its prime and should consider ending. The constant reinvention, while appreciated by some, is seen by others as a sign it's struggling to find a consistent identity. Unfortunately for Not Going Out, Some more scathing reviewers have drawn comparisons to Mrs Brown's Boys in terms of declining quality or reliance on broad, sometimes cringeworthy humour. Series 14's empty nest approach was a bold attempt to refresh Not Going Out and potentially bring it back closer to its roots. In essence, the story arc of Not Going Out showcases a remarkable evolution from a will they won't they flat share to a family sitcom, and then further to a comedy about empty nesters, all while retaining Lee Mack's distinctive comedic style. While it's generally met with a degree of acceptance from its loyal fan base, there are clear concerns about the shrinking cast and the feeling among some that the show may be running out of fresh ideas despite the format changes. It seems the show's enduring popularity relies heavily on Lee Mack's individual comedic talent and the comfort factor it provides for viewers. Series 15 has been commissioned, so there is more to come. I really hope you enjoyed this look at the divided opinions about Not Going Out. What are your thoughts on the show's evolution? Did you prefer early Lee or the family years? Let me know in the comments below, and if you had fun with this video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more British sitcom stories and trivia. Thanks for watching.